Hey.
What's good? Now, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We are here. Girl Chat Sports.
But we here. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Girl Chat Sports in the building.
West Coast Wednesdays.
Wednesday vibes. Wednesday vibes. Going live on the Wednesday vibes. So we got all that going on. Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are following, sharing, liking. I hope you guys are able to tap into us at this moment. Like I said, we're sorry for the delay. Hope you had a good week so far.
Most definitely.
Hopefully you guys had a good NFL week.
Some of us more than others.
Right. Shout out to, I got to wear my Southern University tee. Shout out to Southern. They played tonight. Men's basketball is back. If you didn't know, college hoops is back. Men's and women's. And they played University of Arkansas, those Razorbacks. Number 1 in their division. We probably beat them. Well, there is a way. We get better players coming to our schools instead of going to the top schools. They come to HBCUs, right? So Southern lost, sadly, 44-79. But it's all good. I'm still going to rep. Shout out to all my Southernites over in Las Vegas. And hopefully they were able to catch that game and show some school spirit, some team spirit. And didn't help, but guess what? We got more games. Just getting started.
Yeah, congratulations. Seattle had a really rough weekend. If it wasn't for the Sounders, we may have been striking
the
out.
Sounders were the saving grace.
Listen,
and I honestly didn't even know that the Sounders. I forgot about the MLS thing, to be honest with you.
And I hadn't really done until I can't remember who chimed in on the post about it. But they were, they were mentioning, well, Seattle, I think it was like 23 minutes left, and they were down by 2. Came back and won it, so they will face Columbus in the MLS Cup this Saturday, which I will tune in for because I do support the Sounders. I'm excited. At least, like I said, my Huskies lost to Utah at home. Mm-hmm. We were 3-0, and then of course we all know my Seahawks took a little bit of a tumble.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about quite a few things. We got some NBA news coming in down the wire. Things happen. Things have been said. Things have been acquired. Somebody, and then we're going to talk some football news, some Raiders gossip. Apparently, a former Raider had some issues at Cosmopolitan because a secret wasn't shown to them. So we'll talk about that.
Ooh,
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But we got to guess. We don't want to keep her hanging because she's on fire. She's pretty dope. So we're going to bring her on in.
Yeah, let's get her on. Hang on a second.
Yes.
I'm not even going to mention Kwan's comment because
what did he say? What did he say? You posted it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Coming from the 49ers in the NFC West. I mean, it's bad. It's he should say that. He should say that because maybe that'll motivate you guys to do better. Maybe he should need to say that. Maybe he does.
Russell needs to be. Russell should already have the motivation.
It ain't all about Russell. Russell, get your line together, get your coach together.
Shout out to Miss Reddy out in the gym, showing love in the gym. Get that work on for all of us, please. We appreciate that. Let's get our guest on too. Welcome, Miss Ballin D. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you, ladies? Thanks for having me on the show.
We are good.
We're good.
No, thank you for coming on. We've obviously been watching each other's shows and we've been anticipating to get you on. So we're glad we were able to coordinate some schedules and get you on because your show, No Plays Off Sports. Right before us, and that's on at 6 to 7 Pacific time. So we'll make sure that you give all your shout outs and your links towards the end of the show so people can come find you. And if they are not already joining in, can join in. But I've known you from the radio out here. I'm sure Mo has known you just from local Vegas stuff too, but kind of give us your intake or your take on kind of how you got started and what brought you to have the sports talk show.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you ladies for having me. Just got to speak my truth here. You ladies show inspired me. Shouts out to Goose and Dre. Let the Ball Bounce Sports Talk Show. I'm a huge fan of their show. And during the pandemic, I got sick. And of course, I caught the COVID. And so I had nothing but time on my hands. So I'm a huge sports fan. Got a chance to follow you guys and was tuning in to your page and your podcast. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty dope. Like, I think maybe I can tap into some of that. So I did my background and was following your pages and seeing you guys have been doing this for a while. I'm like, they legit. And to see Mo and how she goes that email, it's like, especially when you talk about her Dodgers and her Lakers, and then you go back at her about her Seahawks. I'm like, okay, they're not just ladies who just like sports. They really know what they're talking about. So I'm like, okay, I can get jiggy with that. So you ladies inspired me to kind of start my own podcast. Of course, I've been doing radio here in town locally for the last 21 years now. So I'm a huge sports fan. I love sports, everything sports. And so I just had a prayer and asked God to manifest some things for me. And here it is, No Plays All Sports Talk. I have a little 13-year-old nephew, and I always tell him, nephew, take no plays off. There's no such thing as taking any plays off. So that's where the name No Plays All Sports Talk came from. And this is episode 13 for me. So been having some great guests on the show. So we're rocking and rolling. So again, thank you, Mel, for reaching out to me and having me be on your show.
Well, hey, we appreciate it. And I know they had just started that soon. So, but I'm glad you got it because we've enjoyed it. I know you do a lot of the local and you got like a high school sports as well, which is awesome because we don't really tune into that as much. But it's a great show to watch. You got great guests and you've got great energy like we do. So we always love to have other women out there that have a passion like us. So that's great. I really appreciate it. That's
absolutely. I love it. Girls Chat Sports with Mel and Mo. I love it.
Got a nice ring to it, got a nice ring to it.
You got the gear, and I got to get you ladies some of my shirts, and then I'll get some beanies and some hats of you guys, and we can cross promote each other.
Yes. Sure. And I got beanies coming in this week for anybody tuning in right now. This weekend I've got we already had black and gray, red, royal blue, and navy are coming. So I'm excited because it is hoodie season, hence why I got my hoodie on. Beanies are in. I mean, it's getting a little cold. It's been nicer in Vegas, although the last couple of days. However, I feel like we might have a bad January.
I mean, it's been 62 outside, and it's supposed to be like high 60s. And hey, I'm rolling with it.
It's those nighttime. It's that nighttime that you kind of walk outside and be like,
44. Yeah, it does it.
I hate the cold. I'm like, oh no, bring me the 110 plus degrees. I hate the cold.
Yes. No, I'm all about the hot too. So Mo, since we got our guest on, I need to hear this tea now. What's the tea?
I mean, we want to get into this now.
Pour it up. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking before you came on, Miss Ballin, and again, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on. We're talking about things that we were going to talk about on the show. I mean, if she wants to dive into football, we can go into football. It is a little football related. Apparently, first of all, let me just say first and foremost, my Raiders won. Let's the record show, regardless of what the Jets did to make us win. Because there are some conspiracies about that, that, hey, they threw this game. They didn't, who does that type of who does that type of play? The Jets do. Do you not know what the Jets do? This is what they do. Okay. So it shouldn't be a surprise, But I was reading online that apparently our former lineman, Vontaze Burfict, got himself in a little trouble at the Cosmopolitan here in Las Vegas recently. He and some fellows were at the Cosmopolitan, and they were looking for the secret pizza place. Pizza place is kind of one of those places. It's very obtruse. You don't know where it is. It's a long hallway. You kind of can walk by it and miss it, not thinking that it's a hallway leading to one of the best pizzas to have on a late night tip when you're out kicking it. And apparently he was with security and they were frustrated, couldn't find it, and they got in a little tussle with security. TMZ was able to capture it all. It's all on TMZ. See what it is. And of course, the two security officers that got involved with it, trying to take Vontaze down, which is probably a feat with
trying to take Vontaze down.
Trying to take him down, are now wanting to press charges, of course, on Mr. Vontaze Burfict. So that is the tea of Raiders,
I don't even know how I missed
Raider
that.
Players.
Wow.
I mean, it just came out today.
It's interesting that the security guard wants to press charges because he made it like it was personal for him. He said he made sure that he was going to take down Vontaze when he realized who he was.
Right, because apparently, I guess they were asking where the secret pizza place was, and the friends were kind of getting amped up, and they were already hyped about some other stuff, and it just turned into this whole big ordeal with security getting involved. And isn't it crazy that, the quote I was taking as he's taking down Vontaze Burfict, he recognized Vontaze Burfict as he's taking him down, and of course wants to press charges. Yeah, it's all interesting in the land of Vegas with 25% capacity in a casino. I guess this is the time that we have on our hands to do these kind of things. So, I want to stay tuned on that and see what happens.
And wasn't his bond like only $1,000 or something? It was a misdemeanor charge.
It was very misdemeanor. It's kind of one of those things that any of us on a given night could have. 10% of that is $100. So whoever got C-Dope, put it up and just
pocket
get
change.
me
out.
Pocket change, just get me out. So, wow. I and to answer Quan's question, I'm drinking lemonade with 0 sugar. I'm on this whole less calories, trying to be good type thing.
Good for you.
I may have a little something added in the cup, but I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's lemonade.
It's lemonade.
I hope that answers that for you, Quan. Yes. Mm-hmm. So let's get into football. Yes. We got to talk about this NFL action. Miss Ballin D, I don't know who your teams are. I don't know what you hail and your allegiance is.
Where is your allegiance?
Where is your allegiance? And I hope
I'm a Steelers fan.
Stadium.
I'm a Steelers fan.
Yeah, we got to talk about this.
Of course, born and raised here in Las Vegas, I have adapted to becoming a Raider fan as well. Okay, but my heart is with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. I will go with that, and we need to talk about that because we
go easy on me now. Go easy on me.
I'm gonna go very easy on you because I honestly wanted you guys to go undefeated the rest of the season for the AFC. I just wanted that to happen, just to, shut the people up that hate Tomlin. Yeah, Dre. He can't stand Tomlin, from what I understand. He's a Steelers fan. He's always getting on Mike Tomlin. Yeah. I don't know if he's changed his mind on that lately. Shout out to Let the Ball Bounce, but he's one of those. And then I know some other loyal Steelers fans that pop in on Facebook that are riding with the team. So I know you don't have Markeith Pouncey. I know your defense is in shambles right now. What do you think is going to happen going forward with these next? Because literally we only have 2 weeks of the regular season until we go into this wild card and playoff series.
Well,
so
we play the Bills.
You play the Bills this Sunday.
We played the Bills this Sunday. The Bills have been rolling. Josh Allen has the Bills rolling. James Conner is expected to be back in for the Steelers. He's off of the COVID-19 protocol list. He is expected to be back playing. But I think the Steelers, they definitely needed to have that L. I also wanted to see them go undefeated. And shouts out to Mike Tomlin for stepping up and saying, we deserve to lose, period. The players need to catch the ball. They dropped so many balls. Ben Roethlisberger, he just did not show up in the second half of that game. He they say, it was tipped. Yeah, the ball was tipped, but he played horrible the second half. So I think the Steelers are going to struggle this Sunday against the Bills.
Do you project a win, though, from your Pittsburgh team against these Bills?
I think the Bills are going to take it. I think the Bills are going to pull it out at home.
Oh, you're going to do our pick'ems with us too. We always do our week.
We can do that. We can do that.
Well, I mean, you're going against the Bills. Josh Allen just came off of 4 touchdowns, over 300 some yards. Granted, it was to the Niners, but
he's always been that guy.
And their defense has been
playing well,
has been consistent,
very well. And I have them on my fantasy, and their defense always shows up.
So I got a question with this fantasy thing. I hear you guys talk about the fantasy all the time. How in the world does this whole fantasy thing work? I've never been able to get into it.
So Miss Ballin D, if there's an opening next year in my league, I have a women's league, and you're in. You automatically get the next spot when someone comes in. Or if we can get one more, we'll make it a 12-person league. But I mean, here's the deal. It's kind of, have you ever played fantasy, anything like fantasy basketball, those are even harder. But this is basically, you're making your own lineup. You draft in the beginning of the season. You draft the players that you want, and it goes like, in kind of a snake kind of format. And, you build your team, and you play your team throughout the season, but you're also hitting of the waiver wire for if you got injuries. You're putting people on IR. You're also, exchanging. Sorry, Thomas Mason's in here. He knows I'm hating on the Niners, but anyways, and so injuries come, and this year has been brutal because it's not. I mean, every year has injuries, but this year especially, a lot of big name, like almost all the running backs in one of my leagues have been taken because there's really no more that are getting you good points that aren't injured that someone that doesn't already have. I mean, it's a great time to have. Some people do it for big money. I mean, there's people that have put down like $5,000, $100, whatever. Wow. Ours is free. But if you do win, you get to have the ladies championship belt. It's like a wrestling belt. You get to sport it. I'm currently the holder for my guys league, which Thomas Mason is losing right now on the very bottom. So
no shade.
None at all. But fantasy football is great because it also gives you that chance to be able to start rooting for the people and be more in tune with the games that aren't just your team's games.
Gotcha.
So we're watching throughout the whole. I'm watching all Sunday. You know, I'm watching 8 screens on Sunday, Ticket in the morning on Sunday, and you're kind of keeping track. You're seeing where your points are. I mean, kickers getting certain points. If you get over 100 points running or 100 yards running, you get extra points. Or if you get, it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense,
Nice.
but it's fun.
Nice. And on top of that, now aside from injury, you've got a COVID. So if your player's on a COVID-19 list, he's out. And then it's like Drew Brees. I've got him on the COVID IR. I have him as one of my quarterbacks. But it also gives you, like to Mel's point, the insight of seeing these other players that you probably didn't know as well as you thought you did, how well they really play because they pull numbers for you.
And something we haven't seen at all ever is that this year we've had games on Tuesday and even Wednesday. And usually you've wrapped up your games by Monday night, so you're able to start making adjustments to your team on Tuesday and hitting the waiver wire Wednesday to get new players. You can't do that with these late games because you're into Wednesday and having to do it on Thursday. So it's been an adjustment for everybody in fantasy.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's to the point, Miss Ballin D, you might be able to take my place next season. I may not even play this season because check it out. I have 5 different leagues. Okay, one of them is a guys' league. I'm dead last in. A couple of them are computer generated Yahoo ones that I'm balling out in and can go to the playoffs in. The 2 that I personally know, like Mel's, and then the guys one I'm in. I'm lucky I'm in the 6th place in Mel's. I mean, I can't even believe I moved that far because I started at the low level of 8, and I have Pat Mahomes. And that's the thing. It's like, you can choose players you want if you think you can get them, but because it is a lottery style and because it is a snake-like thing, you may not get that prize player that you want. So then it's a strategy of prioritizing which players do you go after first as your picks. How do you set your lineup with? Because you only get a certain number of running backs. You only get a certain number of wide receivers. You only get a certain number of kickers. And some people don't add backup kickers when there's bye weeks. So you got to keep the bye week schedule in factors. It's a lot of technicalities to this thing. I don't understand how people do. It is a lot of homework. I don't understand how people do fantasy baseball. I'm jumping into an abyss this Sunday, drafting on someone else's team for a men's basketball NBA fantasy. I'm about to dive into that, and I'm only doing it because it's like, and I told my friend, I said, this is every day, right? Like, I'm not gonna. This is an everyday thing that you have to do, and this will be my first time playing.
Basically, start with football. Start with football and move progress. The other ones, it's honestly too hard. But football for sure. I'm definitely making sure that I take a mental note of this because you'll be in the league next year.
Yes, I'm going to try it.
Mo's staying in it though. Mo's got to stay in it.
I'm not staying in it. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know. I need to see if a prize is a little bit better than a belt. If we can go designer or something like a nice bag, then it'll motivate me probably to do.
What are you giving to the computer generated ones though? What are they giving you?
Bragging rights. I can post and brag rights. It actually talks mess to these guys. I don't even know these guys.
You can have bragging rights here too.
We'll see. I don't know.
Anyway, let's get back to football a little bit. So Ms. Ballin D, since you are a diehard Steelers fan, what are your thoughts also on this new age Browns team that we're seeing this season? These guys.
The Browns are playing well.
I know the Cleveland and Pittsburgh, like you can't even have the other team's gear on in the other city or they will go at you. Like I know that rivalry is crazy. So what are you feeling about this Browns team? Because they are making a legitimate run into the playoffs and who knows what may happen.
Yeah, one of my coworkers, we go at it all the time. And I'm like, the Browns, where did they come from? But you got to give it to them. They are playing, they're playing football. Baker Mayfield, he's having a phenomenal season. As much as I want to have them, I have to say they're playing decent. They're playing well. Got to give credit where credit is due.
He only played good this last Sunday. Let's be real. This is the best game he's had to me, in my opinion. I'm still on Baker. I don't like him, but this is probably the best game he's had. That's it.
But he's not throwing
passes. He threw 4 passes and they completed. That's the best game he's had so far this season. Let's be real. Continue with what you're saying.
The last couple of games, he's been he's been so. He hasn't been turning the ball over as much, and their running game has been doing well. They and like Mel said, could be making a run, surprisingly.
Yeah, and it is a run game. It's definitely a pass game. You got Jarvis Landry and Nick Chubb out there. And they're just balling out. And I got both of them, like I said, on the fantasy.
Do you see how wins have started ever since Odell Beckham went down, too? Like, do you feel like that maybe was some kind of factor in this?
So do you think he was kind of like the bad poison for them?
I mean, I don't know if maybe on field, but maybe I don't know what it is, but he's ever since he's been gone, it's kind of like they found this momentum and they just kind of I don't know.
Maybe
but
the
I
routes are more familiar with Baker because they've had Jarvis Landry and Nick Chubb. OBJ is new to the season and the team, and maybe the route run plays are just not good because he's not getting any touches when he was out there. So
yeah,
it could be just the system that they had before and it's just more elite. I don't know. I'd hate to see it.
Yeah, for sure. Hate to see that he went out the way he did. I mean,
I sure
want to see that happen to anybody. But if it changes some things in the locker room, I'm sure Cleveland is kind of celebrating right now, unfortunately.
Well, and they already had Odell Beckham already had like his one-handed catch he's doing in rehab. Like he's got a bum leg, but he's still doing one-hand catches. So he's still feeling himself, I guess. But the other thing that's happening up there in kind of, I guess, that northeastern thing, Carson Wentz got replaced mid-game this weekend for Philly. I mean, this guy is getting paid. You got Jalen Hurts coming in. He's now been announced as the starter for this coming weekend against the Saints. I mean, what does that do to you as far as your ego? I mean, granted, he hasn't been doing well. So you have to admit that, you weren't doing well.
Has he not been doing well, or does he not have the line to help him do well?
No, he hasn't been doing well. He has to take responsibility in that. He has not been playing well.
Yeah.
His percentage is low. I mean, he's 30. What is he? Ranked 30 on his pass completion rating. He's not but he's also brought a Super Bowl to this city too. I'm not going, and he's about to be he's the highest paid second string quarterback. Now, dare I say, I don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to do just as well, because what we pray for is that he doesn't. We hope that, and we can't say, oh, it's a lucky thing, because you're in the league for a reason. So it's not luck, it's your skill, of course. But dare I say, I don't know what Jalen Hurts is going to bring to this game. He may do a little bit better, but doggone it, if he does phenomenally, I don't know what's going to happen to poor Carson.
I mean, he kind of kept them in the race with against the Packers. He came and I think he threw a touchdown at like 4th and 15 or something like that. Had his first NFL touchdown, and then kept them in the chase. They were only like down by 7 for a period of time in the game.
I know. It's a scary thing. I mean, then you look at the salary that you gave Carson Wentz, all this big money, and what do you do if Jalen Hurts does end up being successful at this? I'm not saying that he's going to be, but you just never know.
Now we know this
on Sunday.
This game, the Saints, they've already clinched their playoff spot. So if they're going to rest players, we don't know. So that may, to Jalen Hurts kind of having some success on Sunday.
Well, and I think Breeze is still out. I think he's trying to come back week 15. But the thing is that the way that they changed the playoff structure is that people want that number 1 seed, because otherwise you have to play for that wild, in the typical wild card spot is now everybody playing except for the first seed. So whether they clinch it or not, maybe they still want that top seed, because nobody wants to be playing that first week.
Yeah.
No, especially not now. Not at all.
Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know. And then we go to Alex Smith. Of course, Washington beat your guys' Steelers. But this man, can we talk about his comeback? And then he gets the cleated ankle, and you see him gushing with blood.
Yeah, that was gnarly. That was really gnarly.
That was gross. I was like, oh,
very
no.
gnarly. It was very.
I'm glad someone said it. I couldn't tell which leg it was, so I was just happy that it wasn't his other leg. But I mean, still, you can't. That's nothing to be happy about. And then he plays through it like a true champ. He's already gone through probably the most phenomenal, comeback ever in the history of the NFL. And now I'm sure that is like a paper cut to him now. I don't know.
Yeah, he played well. I mean, as bad as I don't want to admit, he played well for Washington on Monday night. He made a great example out of my Steelers and our defense that didn't show up for sure. But I mean, his story, like you said, is phenomenal. To see him have that type of success, you got to cheer for the guy if you have any heart in these.
Yeah.
I mean, he's with San Francisco, he's with Arizona, and then he's here. I mean, you have to see the succession and fruition. And he's an older player, and still got it. I mean,
hats off to him.
But Washington's defense has always been amazing to me. I watch Washington quite a lot. And I used to pick Washington in my pick-ems on certain teams, and they beat them because their defense was just incredible.
Well, Chase Young helped him out a lot this
He
year.
did.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
really put that smackdown on a couple of the teams.
Right.
He's
And it
an amazing
shows.
athlete.
And it shows.
And
But I
Washington,
worried about you guys. Go ahead.
Washington hasn't been getting tremendously beat. I mean, they've been close games. I mean, they've been
very
their defense, and I kind of had some reserves in regards to betting on that game. I actually didn't end up taking it because I'm like, Washington, they play hard, and that was a trap game, and a team that plays hard like that, very end, and it paid for them.
Yeah. And not to mention too, I was worried. And my gut kind of was telling me Washington might beat you guys because the way y'all played against those Ravens when we did the reschedule, it was terrible. So I said, you know what, they're playing so raggedy, they might even lose to Washington. I was thinking in my mind, and I was like, you know what, I'm still gonna roll with them, still gonna roll the black and yellow. And no one in the pick'ems had picked Washington except one person at work, and now he is the winner of this week's pick'ems because of that one pick of picking Washington. No one had picked Washington. It's crazy.
I guess, Les chimed in with the Giants, so we might as well go towards my team now, I guess. Shout out to Les. I don't know how long he's been a Giants fan because I don't ever see him repping.
I didn't know he was a Giants
but that's
fan.
Okay. I stay repping my team, so we'll leave that alone.
He's a Lakers fan. He's a Lakers fan. He already knows. He likes to rep when it's winning season. He's Lakers and Dodgers, so we're winners right now. It's faded distant memory.
But of course, my team gets beat by Colt McCoy-led Giants.
Golden Tate.
Who saw that coming? I didn't.
No. I'm actually pissed about losing because I picked Seattle.
Ticket buster.
Big ticket buster.
Ticket buster.
I mean, listen, and Mo's heard and you might have heard my conspiracy theory about the Seahawks losing, or always when, Russell Wilson and Sierra have some kind of big, social media stunt that's happening. It's her birthday one game to lose to Arizona. It's Halloween. I forgot who that loss was to. Every scenario has like a loss. I couldn't find one for this Sunday's game, so maybe my conspiracy theories went out the window. However, Russell had like his worst game of the season. We've lost now at home. We hadn't lost at home the whole season. It's like, come on, guys. It's really time to wake up. Chris Carson was back. We had running game. Granted, he wasn't healthy. He's not 100%, he still says, but he's playing. Both him, Hyde, DJ Dallas were all in the running game. But for some reason, our passes, DK had a couple good arm shots, but he wasn't necessarily catching those deep balls. Tyler Lockett wasn't even effective throughout the game. They were targeting David Moore. It was just like, thanks to Jamal Adams. He had, I think, like 11 tackles. He got another sack. I think he's leading in defensive something for sacks, which is amazing. Jamal Adams is great. And I can't wait for the Jets to come to the new stadium this weekend. What is it? I keep calling it Lululemon, but it's not. Lululemon. CenturyLink. They're coming to CenturyLink.
Yeah.
So you guys are favored by like 2 touchdowns this week? Like, that's a lot of points. I know the Jets are having a bad season, and they're coming off their win against the Raiders. That's a lot of points. 14 points? That's 2 touchdowns.
That's a lot of points that we're going to have to make up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We can't do that in the fourth quarter. We keep playing in the last of the third and the fourth quarter. We can't. We literally only had 5 points the first half against.
I didn't understand that when I saw that. I saw that you guys were up 5. I said, "What is
we
this?"
Had a safety. We had a safety towards the end of the half.
You guys are the most stressful game to watch. I swear to God, in the entire NFL. You guys are the most difficult game to sit up and watch on a Sunday, a Monday, a Thursday, or dare I say
any day.
COVID. Any day. You guys are the worst games to watch.
But imagine being that's your team. I need high blood pressure medicine pretty soon. Like, it's getting that serious.
I mean,
like, here's the deal.
So.
My phone will be going off throughout the day, like for the game. But when the game's over with, if anyone texts me or calls me, I'm either hang up or it's like just. Or it's like the cussing emoji. Like, I don't want to talk ever. Like, after a game, I'm literally pissed off. I hate losing. I hate it.
It's kind of like,
every time you're on a tipping point of losing. Every time. Every game.
It comes down to
it's never a blowout. It comes to 3.
No.
And it's like, I can't stand y'all. Like, I don't even want to watch. I did not watch that game for that reason. When I saw and I was on my phone and I looked at 5, I'm not watching this. I said, it's going to stress me out just for Mel because it's crazy. I don't understand what's going on. And then to see the Giants come back and win, I was even highly upset because I was like, no.
Yeah,
CenturyLink. No,
I noticed Mel doesn't take losing pretty well. When her Huskies got upset a couple weeks ago, I texted her and I'm like, I was gonna say something to you about your team, and she went silent. I didn't hear from her for the next day. We're talking about corresponding to the show. Didn't hear from her till the next day.
Yeah,
I tell you, I literally turn off. And what kills me is that there's people out there. I'll leave people's names out of it that I didn't even know were Giants fans, or maybe I did know they were Giants fans, but you don't even talk to me on a regular, and you're going to hit me on Sunday like, oh, you see the score, right?
Let me
don't you do that though, Mel, because like I said, you guys deserved that. Maybe it's something that
I don't hit nobody after we win for someone that I don't even
have to do that.
Like,
that's okay. You know, everybody has to have their gloating rights because you always talk about these Seahawks. And it was the same as the Nordstrom employees I work with that love Seahawks. I said, I'm sick of y'all talking about these Seahawks. And then when you get a chance to lose, it's what it is. It stings.
Right.
And it hurts.
And I'll take it. And I take it from those that I continuously have discussions about or talk about. But, I don't go after people that, their teams lost. And I don't even talk to them on a regular. Like, I
go after anybody that tries to talk about my team. It doesn't even matter if I talk to
the thing is, my team
you're not going to talk about my team.
And if my team was 0-12, I'm still repping my team. I'm never not going to be a Seahawks fan. Exactly. So it goes without saying. But I personally hate to lose.
But hopefully this loss will bring you guys on the Jets. And I asked you before Miss Ballin D came on, are you guys going to beat the Jets? I need to know now.
I believe so. And I think for Jamal Adams' sake, if nothing else, this man's probably going to have like 2 tackles and probably about 15 sacks alone, just on him. Now, can the rest of – here's the deal. Can our offensive line obviously has struggled throughout the years. The beginning of the season, it looked fairly decent. Like it wasn't good, but it was decent enough to give Russell Wilson the time or to let runs get through. However, now, last game, it was terrible. He had no time. And the couple times he had some time to try and get a pass off, he didn't see it. And then he took too long to try and run. He needs to either be running or passing. You can't just stand there. It's not working for him.
They haven't been playing well last 2 weeks at least. The Seahawks, they don't blow teams out. It always comes down to, the last quarter, the last couple minutes. They don't blow teams out like that.
They don't. They're not that team to do that. And it's just like, wow.
That 14 points. I know it's the Jets, but I just can't see giving Seattle.
I don't see 14 points either. I don't see it either. But, I doubt that you guys are going to hand them a win. If the Raiders couldn't do it, I would dare. If I see this, I swear to God, Russell Wilson is out of the MVP conversation for sure.
Well, I think he's already out of it.
I think he is, but he's out. But he's definitely out. Like this would be just like concrete. Let's not even talk about this ever again. Let's not talk about this ever again. Yeah. So he needs to come back, and I think they will.
I believe so. I mean, here's the deal. Now it's that playoff push. Granted, we might not make the first seed no more, but at least we can try and get into and who knows, maybe there's some kind of philosophy behind it as to what seed you might end up getting so that you can play a team that maybe you're like, I think someone said that there's a chance we even play the Giants and we can come back and beat the Giants if the Giants, that's fine. But you also don't want to get into the playoffs and end up playing, the Saints, the Packers first time in your first game either. So it'll be the NFC is quite the show too. So
it is.
This whole season is just a show. Then let's talk about Dez Bryant real quick. Let's just talk about Dez Bryant.
COVID crazy.
He went COVID crazy and said, they pulling me out of ranks and testing me. Okay, do they not randomly test? I mean, I'm confused about that. And then the fact that he did test positive, now he's saying I'm scrapping the rest of the season. I'm not coming back.
Speaking on emotions, of course.
Yes, because I honestly think he will come back. And it's like, what are you talking about, guy? What are you talking about? You're going to leave this Baltimore team. Yeah, you're going to leave this Baltimore team that has a chance to go off to the playoff contention hanging like this? Like, you're not going to do that. So, not that it's like he's a factor anyway because he's coming off the second unit. But still, you just don't do that to your team. I just thought that was very interesting how he was like, I'm done.
It was also interesting how they pulled him too. I mean, 30 minutes before kickoff, they finally, he inclusive test. Positive. He did test positive on the second test, but the NFL said that they handled his protocol correctly, but he was the first person on the field. He was shaking, he was catching balls, he was hugging people. You not cancel the entire game knowing that he was out there and he was exposing people?
Yeah.
Well, and then of course, this is the one game Dez wanted to play. He's going against his Cowboys.
Exactly.
So for him, it's like, well, okay, season's over. Then I'll just wait for next year when I can beat him.
But he knows they were going to win with or without him anyway. You know what I mean? The Cowboys were going to lose this game either way.
Period.
I told you they were already in a van by the river, living and dwelling, setting up roots. I already told you this. And the crazy thing about it is people are like, well, Dak is really a key factor. Is he though? Because they were 1-3 with Dak in place. Last season, they were 8-8 with the same line. The only thing they added was CeeDee Lamb and a couple other new people, and they still didn't make the playoffs. They lost that first round. So what is the problem with the Cowboys?
They're having a hard time.
The Cowboys are the problem.
It is a problem, right? So is it the problem? Because to me, I'm not even going to blame Mike McCarthy. That's not your coach. Your coach is Jerry Jones, and people need to recognize that the owner is the one that is making all these things happen, and always has been very influential in his team to their demise, sadly. So I don't think it's a Dak thing because, like I said, even with Dak, they still started off the season when he was playing 1-3. Same line.
Zeke though, Zeke is playing well. He's not putting up any numbers.
Exactly.
Dallas can't move the ball. You can't. Their running game is horrible.
He has no excuse.
No.
I mean, if anybody should be playing well, at least let it be Zeke.
It should be him. Yes.
And I'm shocked that Dallas Cowboy fans thought they honestly had a chance to win last week. I really did. I'm more shocked. They're shocked at the fact that they lost. I'm shocked at the fact that they thought they could win. That's what I'm shocked.
They always think they're going to win.
I know. And I tried to talk to
America's favorite team.
America's favorite team. I talked to my older brother, and he's in a depressive state about his boys right now. I'm like, you better snap out of it and figure it out because your team has problems. And he recognizes those problems, but it's just a very depressive thing. And I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, but it's not happening.
I personally feel that like with each additional new nose ring that Zeke gets, they get worse and worse.
Or the tattoo across his stomach that says "Feed me." Like how corny is that?
He's an Ewok. I don't understand this guy. I don't even think he's part of this realm. I feel like he needs to be an extra on Mandalorian or something. He looks like one of these Ewok guys. You know what I mean? Just a taller version. Maybe he can look into some side work. I don't know, but the Dallas Cowboys definitely have some tremendous dysfunctional issues within the organization. I don't know if it's going to get better. I have to give credit to CeeDee Lamb, though, as a wide receiver in their draft pick. He did look nice this past week. Yeah. He actually had some great catches, and
he almost caught the end zone.
Yeah, he almost caught the end zone. Yeah, he did. And I mean, like he's developing, but it's like, what is the worth of it? Because they just start going down in flames. So
I mean, to their credit, they didn't do as poorly as I thought they do, but they still didn't do good. I mean,
they didn't do good for bragging rights. They didn't do good for their Cowboy fans to be saying what they're saying. No. They didn't do good at all. I feel like they should stand moot for 2020. You know, they really should. I don't understand why they still post. It's just crazy to me.
Not good. Not good.
It isn't.
Oh man.
Shout out to Stephanie Washington in the chat. I know she's
we love Steph.
We do. And she rides or dies with her team, and I get it, but I mean, you got to call a spade, and this is just not that time, you know?
Reality is your team just is not, they don't click.
They do not click. They didn't click before. That's the thing. Don't throw this on, we don't have Dak, because I'm telling you the numbers with Dak. It still wasn't good. So something's amiss.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the NBA a little bit then, because there is some new news. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows these days? Training camps opened up on Monday.
Right.
Your guy, the Beard, did not show up for practice on Sunday. I guess there was some kind of practice for the team. He didn't show up. He was seen in Atlanta for little baby's birthday party over the weekend without a mask. He is reported to have been in Las Vegas on Saturday. We know he wants to be traded. He did, I guess, finally report to training camp on yesterday. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, like, are the Houston's just going to say, no, we're not doing nothing? Or do you think he'll end up going somewhere?
He wants to go to the 76ers, but
I know I was about to say
they're not gonna give up Ben Simmons for him. That would be a bad trade.
Or Tobias Harris or Joel Embiid. They're not doing it. And to be honest with you,
I don't blame
Doc Rivers over there. I don't think Doc Rivers wants any headaches. I think he dealt with enough headaches in Candyland, Clipperland with all of that shenanigans. I really don't think he wants the headache of another prima donna coming on the team when he's already got to manage Embiid. He's got Tobias Harris. He's got Ben Simmons, So I don't think there's any, and there's no place for James Harden. You put up 50 points, but it does nothing if you're not going to be a part of a team. And I think that's what he's not getting. He plays very selfish basketball. I've been saying this. I knew it wasn't going to work with him and Westbrook being on the Houston Rockets team together because he's going to ball hog and it was going to be a combative type of situation. But it's just not going to work anywhere for him unless he can give up the ball. And that's the conversation that needs to be had with him if he wants these trade talks to happen.
I don't even know if I can name a team off top that I.
Me neither. I mean, the Knicks might say, "Hey, Jimmy Dolan's crazy." Maybe the Knicks can go on over to New York and put on that orange and blue. I don't know, but I just don't see 76ers clamping on to him, especially with Doc going over there.
What about the Nets? He was mentioned to have been wanting the Nets as well.
Again, that's terrible. That's problematic. Yeah. What are you going to do with Kyrie and Kate? You can't do that. That's just crazy. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'll be there with popcorn in my juice box. 2020.
I mean, we're still in 2020. Crazier stuff can happen, right?
I mean, it's very crazy.
I don't think that'll work in Brooklyn either.
No.
That's no big three. That's not. And he has to take like 6 COVID tests before he can even join the team to practice or anything. It's just Houston's not good anymore like that anyway, and he's a bad apple for them right now.
He is, and he doesn't get along with the GM because the GM didn't consult he or Westbrook on the whole issue of bringing players on and that kind of thing. So that's already some tension. So I just don't know where there's room for this guy. I really don't know. I'm more curious as to why Giannis hasn't signed yet. Yeah. What is going on? I want to know, are you taking the max deal? The basketball season is about to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
The deadline is like the 21st. So we're like 2 weeks away from the deadline.
Right. So what are we doing? He's talking about I'm focusing on myself. What the heck does that mean?
228 million. Yeah.
Are you
228 million? I'm focusing on myself.
Right. I'm focusing on myself. What does that mean? I need to know, what are you going to do?
So you guys think he want out? You guys think he want out of Milwaukee, or you really think he's really just holding out? You think he kind of wants out of Milwaukee?
I mean,
I almost feel like he does, only because the Bucks really haven't done much around him while he's been there. I mean, they really, they get to playoffs, they get out. There's never been like this huge run at trying to get into the championship, but there doesn't seem to be like that huge emergent need that they're not like, you don't see them like actively scrapping to get into the championship. So I don't know. I would personally like to see him somewhere else. I'm not a fan of Milwaukee. I mean, I don't hate the Bucks. I feel like Milwaukee's one of those cities where you're like, well, why do people stay there for? Like, what do you know?
Yeah, there could be a better fit.
I guess for that super max payday, but other than that, like, come on. Like, I feel like there could be other fits that maybe he could easily get a championship elsewhere sooner.
Some people were saying he might consider going to to Golden State.
Well, I've been saying that because they need him, because he can stay in the low post, which is his position all day. He's not an exterior or perimeter shooter. You've got that on deck with Steph Curry, and they've already negotiated saying they would take Wiseman into the trade, their newly draft pick, include him and a couple other future draft picks to get him, just to have that balance now since there is no Klay Thompson. It was also rumored that Giannis was thinking about coming to play with the Lakers. Where that fits in the mix, I have no idea.
I'll take it though. But
I would take it too. I'm not gonna complain, because guess what? I feel like as a Laker fan, we're already set up for a back to back to back. So let's just get that out there anyway. So we just don't know. But the fact that this is a stalled delay on him not signing is just interesting to me.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I know Milwaukee Buck fans their nails have to be nubs at this point, because it's like, what are you guys going to do this season without a Giannis?
Leaves a lot of question marks for sure.
It sure does. It really does. It really, really does. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's
so Ms. Ballin D, I did not know Lakers are your team then, is what you're telling me right now?
The Lakers are my team.
So what did you think? Okay, because I just read some news that Pau Gasol, he didn't play 2019 season, but he wants to be back on an NBA team. And of course, his first choice is joining his brother Mark in the Laker legacy to be two brothers to play on the team. Now they already made Laker franchise history of being the two brothers that have played for a franchise, but not at the same time. But now Powell is wanting to come back.
Why?
And play.
Why?
Lakers.
Only because he wants to play with his brother. I mean,
he wants to play with his brother.
He hasn't played since 2019. He hasn't played any 5-on-5 basketball.
He has not.
He's had 2 surgeries on his foot since 2019. I mean, even if they signed him to a 1-year deal, he doesn't really care. He knows he's not going to get that necessary playing time. He just wants to be able to play with his brother. But like you say, Mel, why?
And on top of that too, Miss Baldy, he averaged before his last season ended 3.6 points per game. So he literally is going to be sitting there like if he's Luke Walton.
He's going to average nothing.
He's not going to average nothing. But guess what? He'll get another ring sitting there too on that bench, and that's okay. Yeah. So, I mean, if they've got the cap and willing to do this kind of experimental thing, go for it. But I really don't see the sense in it. But it's Powell, they did. So I'm not going to knock Powell.
They did resign Jared Dudley, and why they did that, I don't know.
Why they do that, I had no idea. I was kind of confused by that too myself. So, and Lakers are just kind of
we'll be the charity team. We'll take all the charity players.
I guess so. But we need to win with some of those charity players just to give our boys some rest. If he can come in there and rest some of these guys, then I'm all for it. And then let's talk about LiAngelo. He didn't sign. He's got not a signed contract with the Detroit Pistons, but LiAngelo is a baller. I feel like with his baller brand, he's actually the best shooter out of all the brothers. So I'm thinking,
really,
wasn't he the one that put the epic 30 points up or 80 points up in a game?
Overseas? I like LaMelo better. I like LaMelo.
I like Melo too.
I like Melo too, but Jello's a shooter. And I think he was the one that put and chat. Anybody in the chat that can correct me on this or look it up, I think he was the one that put up the record points up in the overseas game. I think he put up like 80 points or something like that.
He got signed with the Pistons, right?
Well, yeah, he's not a guaranteed contract, but he's got a year with the Pistons, and we'll see what happens. I like Melo too. I'm not mad at the Melo thing either, but being over there in Charlotte. But I'm curious to see what Jello is going to do with this Detroit team. We didn't talk about it before, but now that we have you on. That we can do this. So
interesting to see. I mean, hopefully, I think Lonzo and LaMelo, they're going to play. Are they playing on Christmas Day, or is this a January day that they're going to meet up and play for the first time? So that'll be exciting for Daddy. I'm sure he'll be excited about that.
And I got to give him props. I mean, he is definitely Joe Jackson his way into this without harming these boys physically. But I have to give him credit where credit is due, because he did put out there, and his wife, of course, because if it wasn't for her, there'd be no them. So again, you got to give him. Yeah, he talks a lot. Yes, he's obnoxious. We all hate, but he did his job as a dad, promoting his boys, and that's what you got to do. So I got to give him props on that for sure. For sure.
Absolutely, totally agree with that.
Unbelievable. Man.
Yeah.
But the NBA also announced that they eased up on the restrictions that you can start allowing players to have like a break, and not as long as it's not during a nationally televised game.
The whole rest period thing, whatever they were.
What do they call it? So
they sit the players out, and
so you can go ahead and sit your players for a rest, but as long as it's not on national TV, because we need the ratings and they need the money.
I did read something that said that the $100,000 fine, did they take that away, or is that the fine? I didn't read the whole details in regards to that story.
I'm not sure.
I think it's been, I don't know if it's lifted, but I know that it's flexible where now, as long as they're not playing during non-televised games. But the other thing that I thought was interesting is that every NBA team, who are owned by multimillionaires, mind you, are getting $30 million to help them with any financial issues that are caused by COVID-19. I'm sorry, what about the millions of people that are unemployed right now?
You and I, like,
but the NBA teams get $30 million a piece.
And where is that money coming from? Where is that money? The NBA isn't breaking revenue right now.
Is that the advertising revenue? Maybe it's advertisers and sponsorships.
I don't know, but aren't they getting that anyway, though?
I mean, they're probably getting bigger network money. I don't know. Who knows?
And do they really need $30 million per team? I mean,
no, they don't. But I mean, business, and this is what the capitalism of NBA does.
How much? Like, for what? Because they got to test every day.
30 million. That's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
For each
It is.
team. I can't.
I've been affected by COVID as well. Like, how much you gonna put in my Chase account?
Right? Can we all get something?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mo likes to come and go as she pleases, you know, so she'll pop back in a minute.
She's popping in and popping out, huh?
She comes in and comes out when she pleases. I don't know. Let's see. There you go.
No, it
that
was
red
because
cup.
somebody was that too.
That red
Somebody was
cup.
calling me. Somebody was calling me on a Facebook video, and it was our thing. And I'm like, why are you calling me right now when it's a show going on? You guys. I understand, but just write me a message.
They ain't
write me a
it.
message, and it'll be all good.
Well, before we get into our pick'ems, I did want to shout out a girl power that I originally saw off of your post on Facebook, Ms. Ballin D, to the former Las Vegas Aces assistant coach Vicki Johnson, who got hired on by the Wings. It's just amazing. I mean, the Aces will definitely miss her. I know she was a great asset for the team.
She started in San Antonio with them. It's great.
Yep.
I mean, she's had this whole longevity with them. So
yeah. And as the only current female,
yes,
that's dope. That's nice. That's dope.
But it's also sad that she is the only one. I mean, you think of a women's league, there should be more women coaches out there, especially, and you know,
that kudos to her. Not only, I mean, she comes with a wealth of knowledge. We're talking about she played 13 seasons in the WNBA. She was a 2-time All-Star. She comes with a lot. And that Dallas team, I mean, they have Erica Ogumawale. Although they are young, she has some products that she can work with. So kudos going out to her. I hate to see her leave our Las Vegas Aces, but congratulations to her on elevating.
I'm curious to know who we may be getting to jump into that spot now, because you know, we've kind of had a little rotation in that assistant coach position, I think, as far as the other one that had left last year or this season.
Right.
So kind of we've got to get this game back in order. We got to get these girls to bring home a championship for the city. So.
We're almost there.
We
were very close.
We're almost there.
Yes.
So did you guys hear the story about the backlash that Breanna Stewart had got? Of course, she was named one of the sportsmen of the year, joining LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes and Naomi Osaka as one of the sports persons of the year for their activism work on and off the court. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were giving her some backlash, saying that, you know, how can you give it to a white woman at a time where there's been several African-American women, female athletes who have stood up for the Black Lives Movement, when the Black Lives Movement has been at the forefront of all sports leagues. And I was just like, I mean, I kind of get it. There were several other players that I could have also named to say, but they didn't play. They set out this year. So she, you know, but I mean, she caught some backlash for that. Some people were, you know, saying that, you know, she wasn't the best choice for that. But she was at the forefront. She was very vocal in her stance on the Black Lives Matter. I mean, she was at the forefront of it all. Yes, she played.
And we're going off of a player's award. And it's not showing a bias of this. It's, again, a player's award. Yes, absolutely. Your off-court activities definitely play a factor because it all encompasses both, especially during this type of critical time. But she played. She came back from a serious injury that probably could have cost her career. She came back, she balled out, and they won a championship. I have no problems with this whatsoever.
Absolutely.
But people are going to say what they're going to say. You know, Black Twitter always has their opinion. I was on there the other night with Real House of Wives of Potomac in Atlanta. I was in there too, in the trenches. So we know everybody is gonna say something. But I think with this kind of thing, I think they're kind of missed their mark on that opinion.
Well, and I think also too, a lot of the people that were giving that backlash aren't from like the Seattle area to really know what she was doing maybe in the community as well, and what she was getting back on behalf of not only the Storm but within the community. Because I think sometimes that doesn't get translated over state lines or through the country. I think some of that stuff you do within your own city, you do with your own organization, and that stuff kind of like that. So I'm glad she got it. I mean, granted, there could have been other people, but like you said, some of those people didn't play this year, so it's hard to give it to them when they're not. So
that makes a difference for sure.
It does.
It makes a huge difference. So let's get going with week 14 coming up. Man, and this is my other theory too. I got theories up and down all the time. Week 13, kind of like Friday the 13th, like week 13 just was a bad weekend for most of us.
Ticket busters. Ticket
It was
busters
bad.
for
Ticket
sure.
busters, like you said. It was
Listen,
bad.
I have to go reload my account this week because I lost it all this weekend.
Right.
Granted, it wasn't a lot, but I try to, my little $5 parlays here and there. It didn't last.
Big ups to everybody that's been hitting their tickets. I mean, they're playing $50 and winning $800 on some of these picks, especially that Washington game. I saw some of those tickets. People are sending me text messages showing their tickets at the sports book, and I'm just like,
It's
roll
crazy.
with it. It is crazy. It is.
Wasn't there like a big ticket buster too when who was it that had the touchdown and hit the 2-point conversion at the end to bump it? They basically went over the spread. I can't remember if it was that this week. I can't remember. Shoot.
Was it the Colts?
But it was like a big ticket buster. Like everybody was.
I don't know.
So we actually have
Seattle.
God.
Yeah, probably.
We couldn't cover nothing. We didn't cover nothing because we lost. Wasn't no one betting on Seattle. We do have a Thursday night game this weekend. So we've got the Patriots at the Rams.
The Rams, yeah.
It's that damn little thing, their logos be driving me crazy. I can't deal. Like, why would you do the same little charge ram on the bus? Anyways, I know we talked about it. I'm just going to vote. I'm going for the Patriots because I feel like if anyone can do it, let's let Cam do it. And I want the Rams to lose because I need them to drop down a spot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to pick the Rams on this. Your defensive team on the Patriots end are all broken. Like, he has no players right now. Everybody's pretty much out. So you gotta factor that in. I don't see them winning. The Rams are looking nice. Like we're seeing the other side of Rams with a Sean McVay at the helm that is doing an amazing job of play calling and drafting plays for them. So the Rams is the ticket for sure.
Right.
I like the Rams also.
Got you. Yeah. I mean, I'm only
understand.
I
understand
I just need them to lose.
I get it.
Need them to lose. It's not that I don't like them, but they're in my conference, and I need them to go down just as much as we go down. So let's just have, Vikings at Tampa Bay. What's happening with Tampa Bay? I feel like, they had so much, hoopla at the beginning of the season, and then the Tom Brady train has been coasting downhill, and
they're winning, but they're not playing solid football.
Right.
I mean, they're not blowing out that you would expect them to do, but they're winning, but they're not impressing.
And let's be clear. Tom Brady still has the same high pass completion rate. It's not that he's not making the pass. It's just, factors on that. It's not him.
But his receivers are also dropping a lot of balls.
They're dropping a lot of balls, and it's just like, he's on a new team. That's all I can say. He's on a new team.
Then the Vikings are up and down. We don't know which Dalvin Cook's going to come out of the game. It's like one day he'll have 4 touchdowns, one day he'll have 4 yards. So
are they playing in Minnesota or are they playing in Tampa?
Tampa.
I think the Bucs.
I think the Bucs pull it out.
Yeah, I think the Bucs pull it out.
I think the Bucs are going to pull out the next 2 games they got on their schedule. To be quite honest with you, they're definitely going to go in playoff contention or wild card for sure.
The Bucs. So Cardinals at the Giants.
See, this is tough. Here's
the deal. And Miss Ballin D. So within the whole fantasy football realm, I picked Kyler Murray as one of my quarterbacks for one of my leagues. He did phenomenal. Like, we're talking over anticipated projected points throughout the first 8-9 games. However, those last 2, he's coming up short by like a third of his points. And it's been really upsetting because he's been doing so great. And then comes this final push and the Cardinals are just kind of losing it. Like, there's no DeAndre Hopkins, happening this time. There's no Kyler Murray running around scoring touch. I'm curious to know where the Cardinals are going now.
And I was rooting for the Cardinals at first when they were having, when they were playing well, and I was rooting for Kyler Murray. But like I said, I don't think they're that same Cardinals team right now.
Everybody's hungry now. So
yeah. And the Giants are coming off their big win. So they just
anyway. I'm frustrated. I'm clearly on a show and you're calling on the phone. Like, it makes no sense, especially when it's a Facebook video call and I'm on Facebook Live. Stop it. Okay. So anyway, again, everybody, and for the Giants to be like number 1 in their little weak division conference, they're definitely feeling themselves and they'll probably be hungry for this one. And I have Kyler Murray on one of my fantasy teams, and I only play him when it's a bye week and I don't have Pat Mahomes to play, and that was only the one time. So the times that I've sat him, it was very well good that I did sit him because he just wasn't performing. I think it was week 4 or week 5 was when he had his best game, and we haven't seen that since. So no, I don't know. I'm gonna go
with the Cardinals. just playing the fantasy. You said Giants.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Giants.
All right. What you got?
I'm gonna roll with the Cardinals. I'm gonna take Kyler Murray. I think the Cardinals will play a
They
good
gotta
enough.
wake up.
To
They
pull it
gotta
out.
wake up. You know,
Yeah.
they gotta wake
Yeah.
up. So, Chiefs at the Dolphins.
Oh, that's a good one.
These Dolphins have been. I mean, they've been impressive.
I'm sorry. I'm taking the Chiefs. Have you seen that line? I'm sorry.
Ugh.
Kelsey, Tariq Hill. I'm sorry. He's got.
I mean, I
monsters.
know,
I'm
I know,
not
you
about
get
to
that,
play
but it's like even they only won by like what 5 points this
And
weekend.
I told you
Like,
the reason why, because they've gotten complacent and they felt like they didn't have to do nothing. They're not
Well,
trying.
Now that you say that, though, the Chiefs, they have already clinched their playoff
Yeah, they
berth, so
have.
they really don't
So
have
they can
anything to
sit
play
back.
for.
They really don't, and they don't want to risk injury, but he's still got weapons, and he's still going to throw the ball. Now, it may be a close game, but I still think the Chiefs are going to pull this one out. I don't think Tua is going to be handed a win on this one.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are.
They're going to go there 9-1 that they are. They're a better team.
Chiefs are a better team for sure.
oh, for sure, yeah, they're definitely better. I am impressed with Tua and the Dolphins, though.
I am too.
You know.
It's good to see him.
Tennessee at Jacksonville. What happened to Tennessee this weekend?
Did not show up.
They sure did not.
Did not
And I had
show
picked
up.
them,
I
and they didn't
mean,
score. They didn't
man.
do nothing. Derrick
And I
Henry
got
was
Derrick Henry on
nothing.
my
Derrick Henry gave me
fantasy.
2 points on my fantasy. 2. I've
But
never
the
seen
last-
that before in my life. 2
last
points.
2
Are you
games-
serious? I want to throw my phone.
He hasn't been running the ball well. He has not
No,
been
he
picking up a
hasn't.
lot of yards.
But he was still covering his points. In this last game, he didn't even break ground.
No, 2 points. 2 points. I was I looked at my phone. I almost screenshotted like Derrick Henry. This is the Derrick Henry that did they pull him out of the game? I didn't even watch the game. I was wondering what the heck
Was
went
he
on.
injured? I don't know.
Was he injured?
I'm
What
gonna
happened?
roll with Tennessee. I feel like they got to make up momentum here. I mean, it's time to push, and it's Jacksonville. I mean,
Yeah, you were going with Duval this whole season, and
I had
realized
been.
you switched over.
I
You
lost
had a thing for
Minshew
Gardner.
touch. I know I
Yeah,
lost
you
the
did.
Minshew touch.
I'm rolling with Tennessee on this. I'm giving them one more chance. I can't with them. You know, if they don't step up and do some stuff, then I'm not rocking.
Yeah, I think Ryan Tannehill, he's the better quarterback in this game. So I think
I have
Tennessee
him
will
on my
be able to pull it out.
fantasy too.
Yeah.
He pulled mad numbers the other week. He'll do it.
So here comes a dumpster fire. Dallas at Cincinnati.
Yeah, and this is sad.
Give me
because
Cincinnati.
Well, just toss a coin, really. I mean, how do you like?
I'm only taking Cincinnati because they're at home. That's the only
give me
advantage that
Cincinnati.
they have. I'll take that because the Cowboys. I honestly believe the Cowboys could probably win this game. I really do, but I'm just not picking them out of spite. I feel like that's the Bengals. And
So
I like them better.
You know, I don't often roll with the boys, but I will pick them this week because I feel like
I think they do.
I feel like Andy Dalton did okay last game. He just didn't do enough. Of course, the team didn't do enough, but I feel like it's Cincinnati.
And Cincinnati has no Joe Mixon. I mean, they've got people out. They don't have.
And
I honestly think
I think that makes a difference too.
It does.
You know, Mixon, if he was actually, I think that he's running the ball better than Zeke. So I think if he was playing, that would make the difference. But he's not playing. But I'm still not going with the Cowboys. I'm still.
I don't like the Cowboys out of spite. I feel like when money counts, I'll be picking them, but I'm not picking. No, I'm gonna go. With
Houston at Chicago.
Oh, the Texans all day. Chicago's a mess. They're a big mess.
I know.
There's nothing you can say about that.
I like Houston.
They're a mess.
I like Houston.
And Houston has a reason to fight for something. They can go in a wild card. So I'm saying the Texans.
Yeah, very true. I'm gonna go with Chicago because
Deshaun Watson, I think, is the better quarterback for sure.
Oh,
in this
for
game.
sure, the better quarterback.
I
just like Chicago's defense, even though they come and go, I think they could come. That's all. I mean,
they're a dumpster fire. They're a dumpster
they could,
fire,
but I don't see it.
I don't
really don't see it happening.
I don't see it either.
The Broncos at Carolina.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one.
That's a tough.
You know, I'm gonna roll with Carolina on this.
Yeah, I like Carolina on this one.
I'm gonna
is Christian McCaffrey back again yet? Or
yeah,
no?
he's back. Again.
Okay,
I thought he was back. Yeah, I think he's back.
Yeah, I think the Panthers. I think Panthers are the better team. I like the Panthers as well.
Okay.
That's where Bridgewater went, right? Bridgewater's over there. Right? Yeah, he's actually doing pretty well. So we'll roll with that.
Not bad. They were doing good without Christian McCaffrey, so it was right. Okay,
Yeah.
Jets and Seahawks. You know how I'm rolling with.
You know what? I'm gonna pick your birds, but I swear to God, if y'all lose to the Jets, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna
Here's
have
the
a whole
deal.
list.
If we don't win,
cover.
I'm turning my phone off, period. Like, it's done. It's done. I'm not going to answer calls or questions, anything till Monday, period. Done.
Because yet even
Do
the
not
Raiders went
disturb.
on a dumb luck, bad defensive play call. I was mad at us still after that game for the fact that we got into that position. So what I don't want to see is Seattle getting into that close call position. Because again, your guys' games watching them frustrate me.
I feel like
because
there's been
close.
two. I feel like there's been maybe one game for sure, maybe two that I felt no stress throughout the game.
Which game was that?
Where were we playing? I think I want to say with like Niners was one of them. No, we played. I think it was the second game against Arizona. I think that game I felt good about, and I feel like it was one of the first ones. I can't remember which one.
They have not been the same team, for sure.
Oh no, no. Colts at the Raiders.
I'm going with my boys. I'm going with my black and silver. I know realistically standing, the Colts definitely have an opportunity to go ahead and advance. This was one of the games that we should be sitting at 11-4 right now, I feel like, but we're not. And this was a game I was expecting an L on. I was expecting us to win the Jets and the one previous to that, and we lost that one, which we weren't supposed to lose. So now I'm thinking that now that we're back at home, we still don't have Trent Brown. And I'm really disappointed in that.
Is he still out?
He's still out, and he's like
COVID issue still, or
COVID? I don't know what it is. Injury.
It can't be COVID issues.
It's not COVID. I think it's injury issues. But he is like the biggest player, literally, physically in the NFL. He is like a wall on our offensive line, and we do not have him. Josh Jacobs should be coming back.
Okay.
So we would have him
back
in the game.
Speaking of Wall, real quick, can we talk about Darren Waller? He's
playing great football.
He's one of the best tight ends I've ever seen.
Yes,
like
underrated.
He's very underrated, and I already knew Darren Waller was that guy. And he's a walk-on player, and all of that. His story is amazing. Darren Waller is the truth. He is the truth.
Yeah.
And Ruggs had a phenomenal Hail Mary catch from Derek Carr with 13 seconds left in the game last week. So hopefully his route running will get better, and he'll be able to be on the receiving end. I want Hunter Renfrow. I want to see him get those catches too, and maybe he can hold on to the ball. I want Aguilar out there, Nelson Aguilar. I need him to be out there in the backfield catching too and making it happen. But I think, one thing about Gruden is he's very old school NFL, and his plays are very old school to a certain degree. But we need that to change. And I'm going with the Raiders just because we're home, and I just think we need to prove that we don't need to have any close mishaps like we did with the Jets. And Carr is still that guy.
Well, you guys are pretty healthy. You've gotten healthier. The team has gotten back on track.
So but our defense is still shaky, and that's the thing I worry about. And like I said, Trent Ball is like that wave that crashes the beach and knocks everything down. So if you don't have him on the O-line, it kind of makes a difference. I mean, and so we're missing that, but they've got to make some other type of adjustments.
Phillip Rivers, he plays well against the Raiders. Though.
He does play very well against the Raiders, and I'm very nervous about that. Like he just, realistically, you got to say the Colts, but I mean, I'm just gonna go with my black and silver this week and see what happens. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. Let's all go. Let's all go.
Yeah, let's go.
Washington at San Francisco. You already know I'm gonna pick Washington, so that's just it. Listen, Washington looked good. They look good against the Steelers. San Francisco has not been looking good. I mean, they've gotten people have been trickling.
They got their guys back.
But Sherman was doing terrible last game. His coverage was blown a few times. Like, I can't give the Niners any credit.
I know, and they're in your division, so you hate them. I get it. I'm actually going to pick the 49ers this week just because I need to see a redemption off of Kyle Shanahan and see what happens on the coaching side of that. Just out of curiosity. That's what I'm just going to do.
I think the fact that the 49ers are at home or in Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona, yeah.
Yeah, Arizona.
And Washington, of course, they just played, and it's been a long week for Washington. I think the 49ers will find a way to pull it out.
Okay.
Yeah. I can see that logic too, Miss Ballin D.
And then Saints at Philly. We know Jalen Hurts playing. We know there's still no Breeze. But they
but this kid that they got is actually doing really decent.
Yes,
And
he
dare I
is.
say,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to pull Jameis Winston in to play or not this season. I don't see it.
Feels
but they're
good,
rolling
but
with him.
he's been good. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's been doing
yeah.
really good. And Saints is my second team. I'm gonna go with the Who Dat Nation and just see what that does.
okay.
Yeah, I think the Saints will do enough to win.
Yeah, they just have more weapons too. Philadelphia just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
They can't hang on it like that.
No.
So the Falcons, who blew out their competition this weekend, I was amazed.
I did not pick them, and I was so amazed too. I did not go with them.
But it's about time they finish up a game.
Right.
I mean, come on. Like,
it was overdue.
Completely overdue.
Yeah.
They
True.
play the Chargers in LA this weekend. So
I hate to say that Falcons can come in there and beat the Chargers. Every visiting team has.
Falcons
I gotta go too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks. I really want the best for Justin Hubert, man. Like, I just hope
Justin Herbert, yeah.
But he's been inconsistent though.
The
last 2 games he has, but
very
for most of
inconsistent.
the season he was doing all right. Yeah.
Their coach is gone by the end of the season. Sorry to say, he's
He's out of there, huh?
Yeah, I think he's out of there. Sad to
Wink
say.
and sleep, get out.
He had too many close games where they should have won,
Yeah.
and it's too much.
It's just not working.
Packers at the Lions.
Oh, Green Bay all day.
Packers.
Yeah.
Packers. And also the Packers, I believe they can wrap up a playoff spot with the win.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
yeah, they can.
Oh,
yeah.
they can.
Yep.
Yeah, they're in.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Pittsburgh at Buffalo.
Woo!
I'm gonna take the Bills. I'm gonna take the Bills to win at home.
Your team?
I'm going against my team.
Wow, that's a true betting fan right there.
You have
my
to though.
team.
You honestly have to though.
Yeah.
Just because they're hurting right now. You got a lot of hurt, wounded soldiers.
Yeah, we do.
That's the only reason why. And then it's in Buffalo. And I just know when you people go to Buffalo, it just never fares good. Not with Josh Allen out there like that in that cold weather.
And they're moving the ball well. I mean, Buffalo's moving the ball
well.
Yeah,
yes.
they're moving the
I'm
ball
rolling
well.
with the Bills too. I hate to say it.
Dang. Like,
I kind of want to see
and
Pittsburgh for the
I
upset.
pull on my fantasy. You know, I'm a Juju fan. I don't
Juju
like
on my
Ben
fantasy.
Roethlisberger at all. However, it may.
I got Juju on my fantasy. He's in my starting. I'm gonna keep him, but I
Steelers
know he'll put up numbers.
Steelers just cannot move the ball. They can't. Our run game is suffering. I know James Conner. He is expected to be back in the lineup this week, but we're having some trouble moving the ball.
Yeah.
And Buffalo's defense ain't gonna play with that. Okay, I'm gonna roll the Bills too. That's a tough one for me too.
It's a toss up. And again, we're early in the week. News always breaks. We never know what's going to happen.
It may have to change. We'll see.
This is the earliest I do a weekly pick'ems. I usually don't pick till Saturday.
Because we don't even know. Most players doing fantasy are questionable today. Like everybody's questionable, and then they get moved to healthy come Saturday evening. So last game, Baltimore at Cleveland.
I'm going with the Browns.
I'm going, I'm sticking. This is my number 2.
I'm rolling with the Browns. I want to see what they do against this Ravens team. And the Ravens, again, are still like the team they were, Yeah.
I think Lamar Jackson is running too much. He's running the ball too much, though.
Well, that's the defeat of him. He has to be able to throw the ball. He cannot. He's like the James Harden of the NFL with wanting to think he can save the day sometimes with those run plays, and he can't. So he needs to start throwing those. And I thought he was getting better with learning that, but apparently not. So
I like the Browns at home. I like the Browns at home
on this too. I think they're going to do some things as much as I can't stand Baker.
And I think they're one of the only stadiums that allows fans in too, right? They have fans there, I think.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I've seen fans there, but not a lot, of course. I'm just, 2020. I should have been at a few games already. It's just,
I can't stand it. I will be so glad when COVID is gone.
Man,
I honestly wanted to toss this season. I was over the NFL. I was like,
I think
get rid of the season. It's just whack.
College football. I mean, every year, Ohio, Michigan getting canceled this weekend. Like, that's a huge game.
Yes.
And what's with Ohio State now? They just made an announcement that they're added to Big Ten championship.
Well, because they're saying that they were requiring they had to have played 6 games to make it to qualify for the championship. Now they're saying you don't have to.
Yeah,
so they need Ohio to be there.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
it helps when you got power like that. Anyways, Miss Ballin D, that's been our show. We so much appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We definitely want to have you on again and get you back.
You gotta be a guest on my show.
Yeah, for sure.
We down for that as well. You know, we down for that as well. But tell people where they can find you in case they do listen to the show later on, where they can find you, like on social media, where they can find your podcast.
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at No Sports Talk. You can also find me on Facebook at Miss Ballin D. And you can also email me at noplaysallsportstalk@gmail.com. My show is each and every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live on Facebook. You can also catch the rerun on Spotify.
Nice. Very good.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having a late Wednesday with us. We know you've been back to back, so I know it's been a lot, but we appreciate you being here. And everybody else, we will catch you next Wednesday. It's close to the holidays, we know, but we'll still be here. Beanies will be coming out soon. We'll keep an eye out for our Instagram and posts like that, and we'll check everybody later. All right.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.